Alright, boys, do you know why you're here? Breaking the rules. Oh, so you must love being here. Another jab at a guard to land you another 60 days in the penitentiary. And you, peon, what kind of whack-ass nickname is that? Well, I want to welcome you guys to hell on earth. Solitary confinement. Where your danger to yourself and the screams of despair are infinite. You will sit in a 6x9 concrete cage with no windows, just a hatch where you will be fed like a zoo animal. You have 23 hours to yourself and 1 hour of freedom. You will be monitored closely and escorted with shackles accordingly. With that being said, I hope you live to see the sunshine.
Man, that's some bullshit, man. Honestly, I don't know why I got the same punishment as him. He assaulted a cop. I'm in here because of tax evasion.
Well, you see, here at the institution, we have a very strict discipline policy, and any sort of free action was not tolerated, because next thing you know, there's a prison riot on our hands.
Well, don't you think it's a little inhumane to keep us in isolation like that? Like, yeah, we committed some crimes, take away our freedom, but don't take away our sanity. That's borderline torture.
I'd say so.
Who was that?
Me, officer. Harry Harlow here, psychologist from University of Wisconsin, and I say this form of isolation is torturous because it deteriorates the mind. It is extremely mentally unhealthy.
Well, quite frankly, I don't give a rat's ass about mental health.
This violates human rights. We are nothing but Neanderthals if we neglect the problem at hand. Solitary confinement is torture. I'm from the 1950s. I'm dead right now, but my ghost is here to tell you guys that we haven't done studies on isolation because we do know that it's mentally deteriorating and it's messed up for your psyche. So why do we still treat inmates like this? So according to PBS, I did a study way back when on isolation, and it dealt with monkeys. And I kept monkeys in a social environment, and then I kept some monkeys completely isolated. The ones that were isolated, they ended up being profoundly disturbed, giving blank stares and rocking and pacing back and forth in place. But the ones that were in for 12 months had all their social capabilities obliterated. Some of the colleagues of mine back in 1951 at McGill University, they also did a study, but this dealt with sensory deprivation, where they kept students locked up in small rooms with goggles, ear muffs, and even gloves to limit their senses. They were only allowed to leave their cells to use the bathroom, and the test was originally supposed to run for 6 weeks, but not one student lasted in there for more than 7 days. Claiming they lost all of their abilities to think clearly about anything for any length of time, so they began to hallucinate. Officer, this is no way to treat our inmates. 1/3 of the inmates in solitary confinements are reported actively psychotic and are acutely suicidal, reported by CNN. These people don't have a chance because they lost all their abilities to interact normally with other people. They usually end up doing more time in solitary confinement because isolation isn't a solution, it's part of the problem.
The system may be broken, Professor, but a man of my ranking, all I can say is I'm just following orders.
Yes, you can't change it personally, officer, but you can join the movement to help urge legislation to fix it. Across the nation, we already have committees such as the CAIC, the Campaign for Alternatives to Isolation Confinement, created to put heads together and come up with a better system, according to the Huffington Post. Jails that have currently abolished the use of solitary confinement have already seen a 75% decrease in violence among their prisoners. Solitary provoked violence amongst inmates because when prisoners came out of the hole, they usually are on edge with severe anxiety.
We are social animals!
We are social animals and we need interactiveness among other human beings to feel validated. So stop torturing our inmates, America. Have you no shame?